Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you with Empire's Happy here on Metropolis. Fraer spawning as the green Protoss player at what I'll call the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, at the southern 6 o'clock position, we have Empire's Happy. Terran versus Protoss here, red versus green, Christmas colors, and we'll see whether or not Fraer will be able to take a game off of Happy, or if Happy will be able to 3-0 Fraer as this game this series does continue. Now, so far from what we've seen from each of these games, Happy has been pretty dominant in each of these games so far, and has really been in the driver's seat the majority of the time. Fraer opening up with a pylon, deciding to do it up on the high ground, most likely will do a bit of scouting after the gateway. Meanwhile, down over here, Happy pretty much building up a supply depot over here by the front door. He should follow it up with a barracks on the front door as well. And then we need to take a look to see whether or not they are harvesting gas. If Happy does place down a 13 refinery, we can expect to see a little bit more tech. However, Fraer most likely will be forced to get a gateway, followed by an assimilator around 14 or 15, even if he does go for gas of his own. And now the probe surprisingly heading back over and not doing scouting as of yet. So Fraer and Happy, both of them are going to be in the dark for a little while. Happy opting to scout out a little bit first. And what exactly is going on? Oh, the barracks is being placed rather close to the command center instead of on that front door. Fraer is going for that 15 assimilator as we mentioned. We should be getting up a second pylon, followed up by a Cybernetics core. Fraer deciding to scout now, finally. And this probe will see the SCV and pretty much determine exactly where his Happy is. They will know that it is somewhat close by air spawns, but still the walking distance in between these two bases is rather large. Marines are being trained. Happy could be going for an early command center down over here. He is currently gasless, as the probe will be scouting him out in just a moment. Marine now finally out. The Marine going to get some easy shots onto the probe. The probe now being forced to run away. What is this SCV going to do? The probe, does get taken down. And Fraer, who should have been able to perhaps take a wide turn with that probe, should have been able to keep that probe alive. So Happy really getting lucky there, as we should be seeing a new supply depot being placed down soon. Command center is up. Supply depot, where is it being built? Off over here. And now we should be adding a bunker over here on the front door. But you have to be careful. This one bunker will only cover a small portion of the map right in front of your base. Stalkers could attempt to try to destroy these destructible rocks off here, as we also see a Nexus coming in from Fraer. We do have the Cybernetics core now with that warp gate tech, and that gateway R is training up some stalkers. Taking a look at the main base, Fraer is getting gas off of only one assimilator, so he's not going to be doing that much tech. And Fraer also not getting any sentries, surprisingly. One zealot at the Zelnaga tower. The SCV did fall to the zealot there. And we are now going into a second barracks and a third barracks as well, also getting that double gas down by Happy. Nexus about halfway completed. As the game does roll on, Happy should be upgrading this to an orbital command. Already transferred some SCVs over from the main base. And Happy with a very nice economic lead now, with no real way that Protoss can charge down the door until a little bit later. And even then, the barracks should be completed. Triple gateways on the front door. No additional tech buildings as of yet. Nexus is about to be completed. We should perhaps see some probes transferred down to the low ground. Harvester count sitting at 22 to 24. And we'll see what's going to go down as Fraer finishes his warp gate tech well before the 6-minute mark. So he may be trying to place down some early pressure. There is a stalker already down now, and it is trying to get some damage onto the destructible rocks. Marines now making their way over, and Fraer is forced to pull away with that stalker. How much damage can he really do, as he is getting some free shots on Marines? Those Marines, though, are a little bit slower, as the stalker could just try to utilize its range, its superior range, and get some easy damage. Now the stalker is backing away a little bit further. There is a zealot and a sentry at the Zelnaga tower. We are going into a robotics facility, as the warp gate tech is now completed, so we may see a bunker bust with perhaps immortals as Immortals are very, very effective. Marines now looking for that Stalker, hasn't found anything as of yet. No proxy pylon has been established though, so units from those warp gates are not going to be able to make their way down. More Stalkers still coming in, as Fraer is currently supply blocked at 44 over 44. Happy sitting at 45 over 46. Marines now making their way over, as the Stalkers are going to be able to finish that Marine very easily. Why is he not going after the Marine? The Marine does get taken down there, and now more Marines coming in as well, as the Marines perhaps going to try to group together. That is a fair amount of Marines. 8 Marines, 1 Marauder, going up against 3 Stalkers only. The Stalkers also going around the far side, and trying to see if there are any Marines on the far side as well. We are also going into a Twilight Council. We could perhaps see a Stalker blink up onto the high ground here. That would be an interesting play, but the Marines should be able to finish that off quite easily. Now getting some easy damage onto a bunker, as 1 Marine low on hit points hiding inside that bunker. Zealots and Sentries still holding that Zonaga tower. We are getting a Warp Prism now being added, and I believe the Scanner Sweep will stop just as that Warp Prism will pop out. And this is going to be interesting. 4 Zealots or 4 Stalkers or any combination of the two could make their way in and now go into a Dark Templar rush. Both places running off of 2 bases. Fraer with an 8 supply lead, majority in probes though. And will Fraer have enough to really disrupt the economy line? There is 1 missile turret here, so that missile turret should shut down on any observers. We are going into double Metavacs now, also going into Hellions as well. Nope, not Hellions, gonna just do an add-on there. The Warp Prism, is it gonna get spotted? I do not believe so. The Warp Prism is currently hiding just out of sight, and now the Warp Prism is revealed. Zealots are being warped in now, and are we going to go into phase mode? Yes, we need to go into phase mode in order to get those Dark Templars, but they are not out yet. Another 40 seconds to go. Zealots all jumping back in. Are the Marines going to be able to shoot down that Warp Prism? Warp Prism down to 22 shields and still stays alive, as there are Stalkers now up on the high ground. No researching on Blink yet. Now going into the robotics bay. And Fraer really all over the place with his tech. That is going to hurt him, as he's not going to have nearly as many units. As you now see Happy take the supply lead at 82 over 86. Compared to 74 over 100. Dark Templar now warping his way in, and it will be able to get in a lot of damage here. Here we go. How many kills can this Dark Templar get? 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills already. The Marines now trying to make their way over. A quick scanner sweep, and now, oh, the Viking is going to catch this Warp Prism, and this is bad news. The Warp Prism going to lose those Zealots. Are they going to be able to drop those Zealots? And now needs to drop down in time. Fraer going to lose a lot of this. Stalkers now trying to make their way over, and do get there just in time, as we now have the factory flying overhead and getting a lot of scouting information. Fraer still slightly behind, 83 supply compared to 86. Happy training up more units, and he is banking a lot of resources. More supply depots need to be established, as a 3rd command center now being placed down as well. 89 supply, 95 supply now compared to 86, so Fraer still in the definite lead, but Happy now with a drop of his own, and this drop could deal terrible damage. There is 1 photon cannon and only 1 photon cannon. Zealots are now coming down over here, and what will they see? In come the units. Photon cannon already getting focused down. Zealots getting slowed. The Marines, a triple medevac drop, going to snipe down the Twilight Council. No charge at all, so the Zealots without charge, the Stalkers without blink, and only a Dark Shrine left to show for it. The Nexus may get taken down, as the Colossus quickly gets focused down as well. Stalkers, Sentries, both sides trying to engage. The Marines all going to just jump back in their medevac, as now we see Fraer complain about a little bit of lag in this matchup. Unfortunately, as Fraer unable to respond and react accordingly. 100 supply versus 100 supply, 44 SCVs versus 48 probes. This one factory is still up and running, not training up anything though, as we're going to see perhaps a Dark Templar try to walk in on the front door, quickly gets taken down because of a missile turret, and that is just bad news. Zealot now trying to do a little bit more damage. It doesn't look like it will be successful at all. Sentry trying to get away. It gets slowed by concussive shell. And Happy continuing his domination in this Terran versus Protoss series has really just made Fraer lose a lot more resources. 750 versus 2050. 52 probes versus 44 SCVs. We are rebuilding that Twilight Council, trying to get up Colossi as a 3rd orbital command now being established. Fraer We'll see how much damage he can do. It looks as, let's take a look at the worker kills. 2 versus 4, not that much worker kills at all. There is an observer nearby. It will keep track of all of these Vikings here, as this one warp prism could perhaps try to warp in more units down in this location here. A third nexus is being established, but the factory has spotted it already. And now we'll see how much damage will be had. The factory already down to 180 hit points. It will burn to a crisp unless a mule is brought over. Pylon does spot this off over here. And now we may even see a nexus warp in here for a possible double expand. Marines and Marauders looking to snipe down this proxy pylon. One medevac looking to feign a drop. There's really not much inside that medevac, so it could be a loss of 200 resources very, very quickly. A probe joining in on the fight. Is the probe actually going to get the kill is the question. I don't believe so, as the factory is most likely just going to burn down. No, the probe actually gets the kill. So the probe able to take down that factory here and now warp in a nexus. Double expansions coming in for Fraer. Fraer, with his slight harvester advantage, will be able to saturate these eventual 3 bases, as the main base is nearly mined out. We are now going into the gravitic boosters as well. Movement speed upgrade 4 observers. We are sitting on 3 colossi. But with the sheer number of Vikings currently in play, 4 or 5 Vikings with the possibility of even more, as we are going into another starport here, so we could perhaps be training up to 4 Vikings at a time. I do not believe those colossi will be able to stick around for very long. We need to see a tech change into High Templar for Psystorm. One observer still flying off down over here. You can see that there is a warp prism here. This warp prism not going to be able to do much of anything. It does know that this expansion has been established. 156 versus 153. Protoss a little bit higher in terms of the overall supply count, as the armies of the Stalkers now looking to see what it can find in terms of medevacs or any more units. Perhaps a proxy or a pylon up on the high ground and low ground in order to defend against any drops would be successful, as we now see a massive Terran Bioforce 2-1 upgrades with Vikings try to take control of one of the Xel'Naga towers. Photon cannon has been established by Fraer to make sure that if a drop does happen, it will at least suffer some damage before it gets inside and runs amok in the main base. Templar archives now being established as well, so Psystorm and Archons could be coming in just around the corner. Probes transferred from the main base. Harvester count now sitting at 66 to 69. Happy with a 1 supply advantage, pretty even now, as Happy makes a move forward. 2-2 upgraded Marauders and Marines just absolutely tearing Zealots apart. More concussive shell, more slowdown. All of these Zealots are going to get destroyed. Colossi could try to join in, and with that extended thermal lance range, deal a lot of damage. Stalkers quickly blinking in, though. Needs to take down the Vikings. The Vikings need to get Vikings are getting destroyed, but the Colossi are getting destroyed as well. Fraer losing a lot more units, as the medevacs in the air doing their job and keeping this Bioforce alive. Another Colossus falls. Only one Colossus left. Stalkers trying to reinforce, but the Stalkers with only 1-1 upgrades, not enough for the 2-2 upgraded Marines and Marauders, as Happy, glad in that exchange, now has about a 50 supply advantage. Ghosts are joining in. Level or Psystorm now being added. 3-3 upgrades in addition to a level 2 weapons upgrade coming in on those Vikings. We'll see if it's going to be enough, as the Vikings are now still pushing their way forward. More and more Zealots now warping over here at the natural expand, or at this, what I'll call a 4th base. Zealots getting destroyed. Zealots now trying to make their way over. Is it going to be enough? Vikings are nearby, but the Vikings now going into ground mode. Quickly see a Colossus, and the Colossus can really take a lot of damage from only one solo Viking. Vikings now making their way over, able to chase down and finish that Colossus with the help of Marauders. And Fraer, who is now behind by 70 supply, I believe will just lose in 3 straight games to Happy. Fraer now down by half the supply in total army count, or total supply count. But there is one proxy pylon here on the high ground. Is it going to be spotted? Yes, it is. Fraer going to lose this proxy pylon rather quickly. Fraer going to lose his 4th base rather quickly. And now it is just down to 1 or 2 bases compared to 4. That is not good news, as Fraer has lost a whole bunch more, about 8,000 total resources more than Happy. Happy could easily make his way down over here into the Nexus and take it out. Two Dark Templars are now trying to slice their way through these Marauders. The Dark Templars could reveal themselves a little bit too close to that scanner sweep. They do get taken down. One Dark Templar down to 6 hit points. It does get taken down. Archon's now trying to join in on the fight. It gets focused down by Marines and Marauders. Both sides continuing this battle. Happy at 180 supply versus 74. And with so many Vikings now even on the low ground, this is looking to be a very, very bad engagement. And there is the GG. Happy wins in 3 straight games over Fraer. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.